Okay, hello, my name is Jack Anderson, and this is my presentation on the role of emergency management in planning, mitigating climate change and sea level rise. So we'll be talking about climate change and really just going over the aspects that emergency managers have to deal with when they're going over this. So first, we're going to talk about what is climate change. So climate change is becoming a more important issue, particularly in the EM field, specifically having to do with emergency managers. Climate change affects many different weather conditions. Some of these examples include like extreme heat, wildfires, coastal and inland flooding, which is more kind of from sea level rise, but these are all examples of climate change and the effects that we have seen. And then ways that climate change has affected this is by making it more severe, widespread, frequent, and costly. And then from 1980 to 2022, we have seen an increase of 7.9 disasters per year in which damages reach at least $1 billion. To within the last 5 years, now it's 17.8. And again, this is billion-dollar disasters. So they're calculating based off of that. And then we're going to talk about the planning aspect. Obviously, in emergency management, we know the four types: mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. But this all has to deal with the planning aspect, obviously. And communities are now having to plan for more disasters that they haven't originally faced before in the past. This, therefore, makes it very difficult for emergency managers to plan long term, especially when discussing with the public, politicians, and then response agencies. And then, obviously, planning's goal is really just to look out for the community in general. Also, they need to alert first responders so they know exactly what steps they could do if there was an issue or what natural disaster was to occur. So now for mitigation, this is typically relied on based off historical data, which hazards are most relevant. But because of climate change, we can't really look at past trends because of the data so insufficient. And these past 5 years have really ramped up different natural disasters, which kind of what we've seen this year from like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. So instead, they're adapting current disaster mitigations and considering them based off short, medium, and long-term impacts. And then they're also engaging with local and state climate research groups to collect and share data to create more improved forecasts for climate change hazards. So that's the whole aspect with mitigation. Um, Now, some techniques. These include physical structures like levees, dikes, and seawalls, which you can see on the bottom right, and then as well as land use planning and building codes. For example, from storm surge or sea level rise, you see more houses on stilts like that top right picture, and then prioritizing energy efficiency in residential buildings, and then all about using renewable resources because that's kind of what we've kind of seen these past, decades or 100 years. People are trying to, look more into renewable resources. An example of this is a new program that was started in Florida. It's called Elevate, the Florida Division of Emergency Management, designed to protect homes and communities by reducing damage caused from natural disasters. All you have to do is fill out an application and to sign up. Their two main projects include structure elevation and wind mitigation. So again, this is going to help with hurricanes and inland flooding or anything that really has to do with sea level rise. And then these are my sources. So thank you guys so much.